You may now begin your presentation.
What if we're only seeing parts of the problems?
What if we miss critical gaps that are causing unnecessary human suffering?
But what if we redefine the problems and reimagine possible solutions?
Then Maggie wouldn't have lost her home to wildfires, leaving her feeling like somebody took a chalkboard eraser and erased her life.
And Jeremy wouldn't be struggling to find work, feeling like he's just on the edge of drowning and can't catch a breath.
The sad truth is that Maggie and Jeremy are not alone. Worldwide, over 65 million autistic adults remain unemployed, and in just 1 year, climate disasters destroyed the homes of over 26 million people.
So at Wilfrid Laurier, we asked ourselves, what if we paid more attention to these two fundamental human rights, housing and employment, that affect the very foundation of our quality of life, and focused on the parts of the problems that we're currently overlooking?
More than 1 in 4 Canadians live with a disability, but only 62% are employed, compared to 78% without a disability. Closing this employment gap could boost Canada's GDP by roughly $50 billion.
Stats Canada estimates that over 850,000 disabled Canadians have the potential to work, but at the same time, over 500,000 jobs remain vacant.
The math suggests there's a simple solution, but disability inclusion is a complex and delicate issue. And to truly solve this problem, we must look beneath the surface, because the most underrepresented group in our workforce is hidden in plain sight.
In Canada, 631,000 autistic adults are unemployed. We're unintentionally leaving behind a segment of our population who bring unique and highly valuable skills to the workforce.
With government supports typically ending at age 18, that leaves most reliant on disability payments that average just over $15,000 per year, well below the poverty line.
The barriers they face aren't always visible, but the consequences are deeply felt. Autistic Canadians face higher risk of food and housing insecurity, as well as physical and mental health challenges.
As we look around at our classmates, we realize not all of us will have the same opportunities. It's hard to believe, but even with a post-secondary degree, less than 15% of autistic graduates will find stable employment.
Each year in Canada, almost 7,300 of our classmates will walk across the stage and enter a job market that looks completely different than ours, one that fundamentally misunderstands and overlooks them.
Despite this, no school in Canada currently offers autism-specific career support. Until now.
Sapphire is the first comprehensive work transition program in Canada, specifically tailored to autistic post-secondary students.
We spent 2 years consulting with over 27 autism professionals, experts, and self-advocates from organizations across the country, and have conducted a research study with 20 autistic adults to inform the design of our program. Most importantly, we worked with autistic students to hear firsthand what they need.
As an autistic person, I often feel isolated, navigating life without a support network that truly understands me. Sometimes all I need is a helping hand and genuine guidance.
Sapphire is designed to do just that. It consists of 3 key components: a community networking platform, career readiness training, and paid internships.
While 1 in 3 youth find their first job through mentorships, 70% of neurodivergent youth report lacking mentors.
We've addressed this by partnering with a community networking platform built by and for neurodivergent adults. ND Connect provides students with access to a large community of potential mentors who share their lived experience.
And we created a separate portal on the platform connecting the students with 29 neuroinclusivity trained allies from across the university to support them and build community.
I've had mentors before, but this is different. I got advice from somebody who's navigated their career while being neurodivergent. It's nice to be part of a community where everyone truly understands each other.
Autistic people face challenges gaining and keeping work, but with the right support can be up to 140% more productive than their neurotypical colleagues, with exceptional skills valued by employers.
In collaboration with autism organizations and co-created with autistic students, we've developed certificate-based career readiness training designed specifically to support the needs of the participants.
We're delivering the training on an interactive virtual platform through a partnership with Wavemakers, reducing the anxiety that the students have told us they often feel from in-person learning due to social pressures and sensory overload.
The skills training helped me to learn how to work with my autism instead of against it. That helped me feel confident that I can thrive at work rather than burning out.
We've also partnered with Needs to offer personalized one-on-one job coaching to further prepare the students for work.
Work experience increases the likelihood of employment 12-fold for autistic graduates, so we're working with Magnet and the Ontario Chamber of Commerce to connect Sapphire students with employers, and we'll be working directly with them to ensure the hiring process and work environment is neuro-inclusive.
Our progress is promising. We're in the process of placing 11 Sapphire interns for this upcoming summer who will collectively earn over $115,000. We raised $26,000 in funding, have 32 students currently enrolled, and based on current interests, expect to have a minimum of 55 Laurier students enrolled within a year.
But one school is not enough. So we've partnered with Casey to expand our program to other post-secondary institutions across Canada.
At scale, Sapphire has the potential to close the employment gap for nearly 100,000 autistic post-secondary students in Canada who could earn over $2.7 billion collectively in their first year of work alone and save the government over $1.2 million each over their lifetime through increased tax revenue and reduced disability support.
But true systemic change requires widespread awareness and understanding.
Through a partnership with Auticon, we're providing access to neuroinclusivity training for all students at Laurier, inspiring the next generation of inclusive workforce leaders.
But it isn't just about jobs. It's about people and making sure everyone has a solid foundation to build their lives.
But for far too many, that foundation is crumbling, literally. Over 3 million people across Canada lack adequate housing.
And we need to build almost 6 million more homes in Canada by 2030 just to restore affordability.
But at our current pace, we won't even reach half of that. Traditional construction is too slow, and we simply don't have the workforce. We need over 300,000 new workers on top of replacing over 250,000 retiring by 2030. We're not just short on time, we're short over 500,000 workers.
There's no question this is a huge, complex problem, and building more homes seems to be the answer. But we don't just have a housing crisis. We also have a climate crisis.
In 2023 alone, climate disasters displaced nearly 200,000 Canadians. Fire season is starting earlier, lasting longer, and is harder to contain. And over 1.5 million households are located in high-risk flood zones.
The economic cost of building in hazard zones could reach $3 billion annually, but the emotional toll is immeasurable. Those who lose their homes to disasters describe it like losing a loved one.
We can't afford to keep building for yesterday's climate. The bottom line is, a home you have to rebuild after a climate disaster is not an affordable home.
That's why we developed Kuponya Innovations, an innovative approach to housing that's affordable, rapidly deployable, and doesn't rely on skilled labor in a way that is future-proof, not only withstanding current climate impacts, but using sustainable methods and materials to lessen future impacts.
Instead of traditional stick-built construction, we've partnered with ZS2 Technologies to use their proprietary tech panel system that is manufactured off-site to reduce on-site construction waste and rapidly assembles to create an energy-efficient building envelope that is highly fire, water, and wind resistant.
Our full solution features elevated foundations raising homes above flood lines, fire-retardant exterior coatings made from sustainable cork, 100% water-resistant and recyclable interior panels that are simple to install and won't mold, and renewable energy systems.
The entire home assembles in under a month, requiring skilled labor for only the mechanical and electrical systems.
We've brought together these cutting-edge materials to create what is essentially a house-in-a-box kit, with all materials consolidated and shipped from Edmonton. Our single-bedroom base model comes fully furnished through IKEA and starts at $138,000. The final price depends on soil conditions, available infrastructure, and transportation logistics.
Climate change doesn't discriminate, but our solution is designed to work anywhere, for anyone, in any form.
To establish our beachhead market, we're focused on where the need is greatest. Northern Indigenous communities who are on the front lines of both the housing and climate crises.
In Northern Canada, over 30% of Indigenous households don't even meet minimum housing standards, and nearly 9,000 additional homes are needed.
Meanwhile, the region is warming at 3 times the global rate, resulting in more frequent and severe climate impacts.
Building in Canada's north adds new layers of complexity to an already difficult problem.
But after visiting a remote community in the Northwest Territories, hearing firsthand about the impacts they're facing and their desire to have more control over their housing situation, our team was even more committed to working with them to create a solution that works.
Just as we had established our supply chain, devastating wildfires forced us to delay construction. We used this setback to strengthen our approach, partnering with ZS2 to lower costs and ensure scalability, and gaining input from 16 Indigenous youth to redesign our floor plan.
Though 2024 brought further challenges with skilled labor shortages delaying construction until November, we persevered.
It's been a huge learning curve, and we experienced firsthand the challenges of building in the north. But we're finally there. We're excited to say that our pilot home is nearing completion and will soon be moved to the Yellowknives Dene First Nation community.
We'll be selling direct to communities as well as through our partner contractor who can assist with assembly.
We're empowering communities to build and maintain their own homes. The impact of this is best described by Tate.
The peace it can give people to have a space that's theirs, the pride it can instill in people to help build their own home and to maintain their own home. This project is so much more than that, and that's a gift that a lot of people need right now.
To ensure the long-term sustainability of our approach, we're in stage 2 for $450,000 in funding from the National Research Council to develop a credentialed program with a rural college that will train a minimum of 36 people over the next 3 years. And we've secured $45,000 from the Future Skills Center to work with human-centered design experts to design our training and assembly guide.
With Indigenous employment at just over 50% in the NWT, our approach creates vital opportunities. Our pilot alone created 6 net new jobs, half of which were filled by Indigenous workers.
And these new skills open doors for community members to build businesses around their housing needs. To support this, we've partnered with Prosper NWT, who is committed to investing up to $17 million for Indigenous entrepreneurs, with our team providing business planning and mentorship support.
The demand is clear. Prior to constructing our pilot home, we had already received 5 letters of interest from all 3 Indigenous groups to build 23 additional homes, housing over 34 people, and have had over 150 people visit our pilot home under construction. Our contractor projects that within the next 5 years, they could sell up to 24 Kuponya kits through their client base alone.
Beyond the NWT, this year we've been approved for over $760,000 in funding with an Indigenous partner to build 2 transitional housing units for women at risk of homelessness in Northern Labrador, and are working with a supportive housing provider in Ontario to build 20 to 25 units.
At Wilfrid Laurier, we didn't just ask what if, we answered.
The Kuponya and Sapphire, we've addressed overlooked gaps and envisioned a future where housing is affordable and resilient and employment is truly inclusive.
We redefine the problems and reimagine solutions that restore livelihoods, giving everyone a solid foundation.
To live.
To work.
To thrive.
To have a future with infinite possibilities.
Because what if the problems we're currently overlooking hold the key to our most impactful innovations?
We will now begin the question and answer period. Judges, please raise your hand to indicate you have a question, and a microphone will be brought to you. When asking your question, please stand if you are able.
Hi, can you speak more to the revenue model for Sapphire?
Yes. So our focus at Sapphire is on the income that our students generate. Currently, with our strategic partnerships, we've been able to leverage existing technology and expertise to keep costs extremely minimal. Now, as we expand to other post-secondary institutions across Canada through our partnership with Casey, we plan to license the program to other universities to generate the revenue to keep the program self-sustaining.
Hi, great work. Question on Kuponya. I was looking to see if you could speak to the cost within the supply chain and what you believe the impacts are going to be on the cost, knowing that these may have been developed last year as opposed to on a go-forward basis.
We've been working very closely with our suppliers to ensure that all of our materials are as economical as possible, and they understand our mission and vision to ensure we can build sustainable, affordable housing that is future-proof. Our pilot home came in under the affordability guidelines for the NWT, which is between $250,000 and $350,000. And even at the upper end of our price range, given the different conditions within communities and the variables between foundation options, mechanical systems, as well as transportation logistics, our home still falls beneath that at $230,000. So we've been working very closely with our suppliers and logistics experts to ensure we can deliver affordable housing.
Hi there, my question is for Kuponya. I'm just wondering, are there any limitations or restrictions for where you can or cannot receive permits to build the homes?
Nope. All of our materials have been tested extensively and meet and exceed building codes nationally and internationally. They've been used to build larger units, smaller units, and if it works in the north with the most dire conditions, we can scale across Canada. So there's really no concerns in what type of home we build because all of our materials can be used to build anything.
Hi there. Question is relative to Kuponya. You covered it a bit, but can you share what range may be available for types of units, square footage, smallest to largest, that sort of thing?
Our materials, specifically the structural insulated panels, can build a wide variety of homes. They actually built a cultural center in Nunavut that was like 1,600 square feet. We focused on one-bedroom units because that's a market need that was indicated to us by the government of the Northwest Territories. There's currently over 581 people in community housing alone who need bachelor-style units. But we also are in the negotiation stage of our first sale for a two-bedroom home with a Dene First Nation community member in Toledo, and are super excited because we want to support and ensure that this housing model works for communities across the country.
Is there an opportunity to leverage Sapphire to help address the issue of skilled labor for your other project, to combine the two together?
Absolutely. Sohan and I work very closely together and recognize that individuals with autism have potential to work in any type of force. So I'm developing a assembly guide and training guide with Aurora College, and individuals on the spectrum can also be part of that program and develop those skills because there's a huge need for green construction skills, and it's only a growing market.
Hi, in terms of your program for autistic employees, do you plan to spend any time creating educational pieces for the employers? It's not, I mean, they have to have the right environment for them. I've known that.
Yes. So with our pilot group of 11 Sapphire interns being placed this upcoming summer, we're working very closely with the employers that are hiring them to ensure, number one, the hiring process is extremely neuro-inclusive, and number two, the work environment is neuro-inclusive. So through our partnership with Auticon, we'll be offering neuro-inclusivity training to the interns' entire team to ensure they're entering a work environment in which they can thrive.
Hi, for Sapphire again. How innovative is the program? Are there other programs doing the same thing? And have you considered going earlier in the stream to high school students?
Yeah, so for the first part of your question, we've looked at post-secondary institutions across the country, and no comprehensive work transition program exists for post-secondary autistic students. Sapphire is the first one. With high school students, we have considered expanding and have plans to expand into the high school environment. We have conversations with the Waterloo Catholic District School Board to provide support to autistic students who may not have the opportunity to transition into post-secondary.
Time has expired. Judges and guests, please help me in thanking the team from Wilfrid Laurier University.